Okay, I want to do an evaluation. It is for one JF. You know who you are. So here we go. It's a generally good essay. One thing that's good is you, except in one place, are clear. Your grammar, except in two places, is good. And you do use some good examples. I want to point out a very good one. That was your use of your own childhood. And you put it into the example of the Nerf gun, where you don't want your parents to be involved with that activity or tarnish the memory of that activity. That's great. Specifics from childhood are totally appropriate. Now, I want to talk about problems. There's a little one at line 4, and it's because you're using an absolute. Remember, absolutes are dangerous. I don't want a reader to have the excuse to say, he's wrong, I've got an exception. I want you to not have exceptions by saying likely, probably, hefty, most of the time, when instead you say just as much as. You're making an equation that may not balance, and if it's imbalanced, logically you've kind of hurt yourself. Second, line 6, I don't like the word obviously. It sounds condescending to some readers, and even if it's not condescending, if something's obvious, it doesn't need to be stated. So leave it out. The second paragraph has a very abrupt. It took me a while, 3 times over, to see what the purpose was about this ninja guy who's making a career of streaming. It deserves its own paragraph or a transition to make clear how it differs from the first part of the paragraph. Now, I'm not convinced that the example's a very good one anyway, because good examples are about toys that children use for toys. This is a guy who's using technology as a career. I think that's a pretty big step away. But again, if you're going to say this is an important career path for use of toys, set it up better so it's not an abrupt, non-transition thing in my face. Well, second to last point. Twice you use the word T-O wrongly, because it should be T-O-O in both cases. Line 44, which also has obviously, and line 64. So in both cases, T-O-O, meaning an overabundance, too much. That's what you want, not the word T-O. Finally, at the end, there's a singular plural problem. JF, in 68, you use the word lines. That's plural. Strategy. Continue your sentence in the same way. That means the word continues is wrong because continue, lines plural, continue. Watch out, that's a classic error when it comes to multiple choice. I don't want students doing that on their own essay. All right, overall, I would probably give this an 8 out of 12. And one way that I think you could help yourself to a better score is address all the perspectives. There's a big omission on your part. You didn't get into what I think a lot of readers would expect, that perspective 2 about adults now acting immaturely when they get really into toys that are meant for children. You only touch on that very obliquely. My strategy is go at every perspective literally and on the thorough side, and come up with a conclusion that says perspective 2 is not as important, or it's outweighed by the goodness of perspectives 1 and 3. You can mention the perspectives by name. Make sure you are addressing them, whether by name or by topic, so that the reader knows you've covered all grounds. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Thanks.